So today's topic it is about the boycott of Banu Hashim and the Prophet's attempt to preach the people of Taif. So you may can have a separate question from this topic. There could be a separate question from the boycott, or there could be a separate question of a 10 mark from the Prophet peace upon him's visit to Taif. So whenever you have such type of questions, you need to give a brief background that why this boycott was signed and why the Holy Prophet peace upon him decided to visit Taif. So first of all, let's start with the boycott which happened in the seventh year of prophethood when he started preaching, when he started receiving the revelations. So when they realized that nothing was successful and they tried different strategies to stop the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, or to force his uncle Abu Talib to stop his nephew from preaching and cursing their idols. When everything got failed, they decided to uh, put some types of restrictions on the Prophet's family, his tribe, Banu Hashim and Banu Abdul Muttalib. So in the seventh year of prophethood, it was decided by the leaders of the Makkah to put a social and a financial boycott, okay, with Banu Hashim. Since Abu Talib was the tribal chief of Banu Hashim and he has assured his support, so they decided to the best way to counter Abu Talib, okay, in a successful manner, so that they would eventually give up. Either they will hand over the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to them, or they will force the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to stop preaching this new religion and cursing their idols. So, therefore, the members of Banu Hashim and Banu Abdul Muttalib, Banu Hashim and Banu Muttalib, okay, they were treated as the outcasts. Fine. How, but they have decided that there should be a complete social and the economic boycott. Okay, the clans, the other clans of Quraysh, rest of the clans of Quraysh, they would not marry their daughters. Okay, they would not have any type of business dealings with them. Okay, they would not keep their company with them. Okay, and they will not accept any type of peace treaty with them until they would hand over the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, until they handed over the Prophet, peace upon him, to them. So the people and the tribes present there, they agreed with the points. Okay, and you can mention the name of the person who put this pact in writing. That person was Bagheed. Okay, this was written by Bagheed bin Amir. So Bagheed, he wrote this treaty in these terms, and the Quraysh chief, they signed this document, and this parchment was hung in Kaaba in order to give it authority. That they all agreed to it. All the tribes, they are with it. Okay, with the terms. So the Prophet, peace upon him, along with his um, followers, along with his family members, they took refuge in a valley which was the property of Abu Talib. That was known as Sheb Abi Talib. So Abu Talib, who was the leader of Banu Hashim, he took the tribe outside the city of Sheb Abi Talib, okay, which was the property of Abu Talib, his uncle. There was no proper supply of food and water in the valley, and all the roads leading to the valley were blocked. They were not allowed to come out. Okay, they were, since they were unable to buy food from the Makkans, so they found themselves reduced to eating leaves and roots. Okay, and the situation was very much horrific. Okay, and they had to starve. They have to eat such type of things. Okay, so they ate, so they eat, and they ate the roots, the grass, the leaves, the boiled leather. The whole family of the Prophet, peace upon him, whether believers or unbelievers, they supported him. Okay, except for Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab did not support the Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him. He did not support his he did not support the Prophet and his tribe. Abu Lahab and his family were exempted, and while some other people who were the Prophet's followers, they supported the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in it. They were only allowed to come out from this valley during the months of Hajj. For other times, they were not allowed to come out, and they faced such a difficult time. They passed such a difficult time during such of these difficult years at that time. Fine. So after 3 years, They passed these three difficult years there, and after 3 years, this boycott came to an end because some influential leaders, you can mention the names of these influential leaders like Hisham, Zuhair, and Mutam bin Adi. Some of these people, they played an important role to finish it. How it came to an end? Since the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, informed his uncle Abu Talib that the document on which this document has been eaten up by a termite, except the word of Allah. Since this document, it started with the word Bismikallahumma, okay, Bismikallahumma, with the name of O Allah, with your name, O Allah. Except for the name of Allah, rest of the document has been eaten up by a termite. So when this prophecy came true, okay, they decided to end this boycott. Okay, so these people, you can mention their names: Hisham, Zuhair, and in the same way, other people, Motem bin Adi and Abul Bukhtari. Okay, they finally decided, they appealed, okay, that this boycott should come to an end. Okay, and also in the meantime, Prophet peace upon him was informed through the through the angel Jibril alayhi salam that this document has been eaten up. Okay, and when they found it true, they decided to end it. And it was, this is how Banu Hashim were able to come out. So that was about the first event from this topic, which is about the boycott of Banu Hashim. The second thing that we have to discuss is the Prophet peace upon him's visit to Taif. When this boycott ended, it ended in 619 AD, and the same year, the Prophet peace upon him has lost the support of two of his relatives, two of his close supporters. One was his wife Khadija, and the second one was his uncle Abu Talib. So, the few months after the boycott ended, Abu Talib fell ill, and he was about 80 years old. He was over 80 years old at the time, and he died. Okay, and with the death of Abu Talib also, Khadija Radhiyallahu anha also died. There was a gap of few months between between these two deaths. 2 months, okay, after the death of Abu Talib, Khadija Radhiyallahu anha also died. Khadija passed away. Okay, she was one of the major support for moral and the financial support of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Since the Holy Prophet peace upon him has said about Khadija that she believed in him when others disbelieved, and she supported the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, with her wealth when others deprived him from their wealth, and Allah gave him children through her. So this is how the Prophet peace upon him would remember Khadija Radhiyallahu anha after her death. So this was considered as the year of sorrow, the year of grief, Amal Huzn, and Prophet peace upon him has lost two of his close relatives, two of his close supporters. So this is one thing that you have to give as a background for the visit to Taif. That why the Prophet peace upon him decided to visit Taif, since after the boycott ended, Holy Prophet peace upon him has lost the support of two of his relatives. Okay, his life was at risk. He was completely insecure with the death of Abu Talib because the new tribal chief was Abu Lahab. And since he was an enemy and he was opposed to the Prophet's message, so that is why Holy Prophet peace upon him wanted to have some support from other tribe. For that reason and with that intention, he decided to visit Taif. Why Taif? Since Taif was near Makkah, it was not too much far. You can say that it was about, some sources mention that it is 60 miles. Others mention that it is about 30 miles east of Makkah. We can exactly calculate it through from other source. So it was a very close town to Makkah. And with the death of Abu Talib, he decided to visit there since it was populated with the second largest tribe. The second largest tribe was Saqif. Okay, so Taif was close to Makkah. He was accompanied by his slave Zaid bin Harisa, who was also his adopted son Zaid bin Harisa. You can mention that Holy Prophet, peace upon him, went there. He invited the tribe to accept Islam. He met with the three leaders in Taif. The three leaders were Habib, Masood, and Abde Yalail. These were the three leaders with whom the Prophet, peace upon him, met. They were all from Saqif. Fine. So he went there, invited them to accept Islam. Okay, and he was full of hope. He was full of courage that if the people would accept Islam, there would be a great change. He stayed in Taif for 10 days, meeting, inviting them to accept Islam. He asked them to help him spread this message of Islam. Fine. But their response was very much hostile towards the Holy Prophet, peace upon him. Instead of accepting Islam, they opposed him. They asked him to leave their city. Fine. The Prophet, peace upon him, was asked to leave their city. Fine. What happened later on? They set the street boys behind him who pelted him with stones, okay, until they were driven out of the city. They forced him to leave the city. Prophet's shoes were filled with blood. Okay, Zaid bin Haris Razilathalanhu tried his level best to protect him from these attacks, but he was not even successful. He too was wounded. Okay, so the Prophet, peace upon him, made his way out of the town and they abused him. They threw stones at him until his feet dripped blood. Zed tried to protect him, but also he was badly injured. Okay, he was suffered with several cuts on his head, on his body. Holy Prophet, peace upon him, was forced to took shelter. He was forced to take shelter in a garden, in an orchard, and which was the orchard of two brothers, Utbah and Sheba. You have to mention their name, that orchard belonged to Utbah and Sheba. They were the sons of Rabia. So the Prophet, peace upon him, he sought refuge in the orchard and he took refuge there, and here he prayed to Allah Almighty. Okay, and this prayer is very much famous prayer of the Prophet, peace upon him, in which he expressed his weakness in front of these people, and whatever happened with him, he expressed all these things to Allah Almighty. Okay, the two owners, Utbah and Sheba, they felt pity on the condition of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Okay, and they moved by the sight of the condition of these two people, and they sent their slave Adas. Okay, you should mention the name of the slave, that they sent their slave Adas. Okay, here it is mentioned Adas with a bunch of grapes. Okay, Adas was sent with a bunch of grapes to them. Prophet, peace upon him, started eating after reciting Bismillah, and there is a detailed conversation between Adas and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Adas got so much impressed, okay, and he accepted Islam. He asked several questions. He asked about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He himself was from Nineveh, from where the Prophet Yunus alayhi Islam has been sent as a messenger. Okay, Prophet, peace upon him, told him about Hazrat Yunus, and he instantly accepted Islam. Okay, then the Prophet, peace upon him, left the orchard. Okay, and then he was met by the angel Jibreel alayhi Islam. Jibreel alayhi Islam came at Qarn al Manzil. Okay, at Qarn al Manzil. Okay, a cloud bearing the angel Jibreel alayhi Islam appeared before the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and he was accompanied by the angel of mountain. And they informed the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that Allah has sent them and they are at his service, and they are ready to do whatever Prophet, peace upon him, would command. He is at your command. Okay, and here the angel of mountain said that here I am to do what you say. Okay, if it is your choice, I can crush the people of Taif between the two hills if it is your wish. But what was the Prophet response? That Prophet, peace upon him, prayed for their guidance. He forgave them, and he prayed for their guidance, and he said that if even if these people do not accept Islam, I do hope from Allah Almighty that there will be persons from among their progeny who would worship Allah and serve His cause, that there would come people who would serve Him and obey His command. So, this is how the Prophet, peace upon him, prayed for their guidance. No, I hope that Allah will bring from their descendants people who will worship Allah alone without associating any partners with Him. Then the Holy Prophet, peace upon him, further moved and he stopped at Nakhla. Okay, whenever you have to write about the visit to Taif, you also have to write about the event of Nakhla also. That Prophet, peace upon him, while he was coming back to Makkah from Taif, he stopped in the valley of Nakhla for prayer. He was reciting the Quran. When a group of jinn came to him, they passed by him, they listened to his recitation. Okay, it was the time of the Fajr prayer when a band of jinn, they passed by him, they heard him reciting the Quran. Okay, and they listened it with the great interest. And when the Prophet, peace upon him, finished, they returned to their fellow jinns and warned them about the verses which they had listened, and they accepted Islam. They embraced Islam. Okay, later on, when Prophet, peace upon him, decided, when he reached Makkah, he did not enter Makkah directly since his life was at risk. Since he did not have any travel protection, he has lost the travel protection which was there in the form of Abu Talib. So instead of entering Makkah directly, he stayed in the cave of Hira for a few days. Okay, and from here he sent message to the Makkans to give him protection. Some of the influential people, he sent message to some of their influential people. Finally, Mut'im bin Adi gave him security at the time of the entering Makkah. So you have to mention the name that Mut'im, okay, because of his close ties and the bond with the Prophet, peace upon him, and his family. Okay, he and his sons, they armed themselves and they sent for the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And Prophet, peace upon him, went directly to the Holy Kaaba. He first performed tawaf, and there, in the presence of the tribal chief Makkans, Mut'im announced that he had extended protection to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So they asked Mut'im that whether he has also accepted Islam, that whether he too has accepted Islam, to which he replied no. So they considered the protection that has been extended by Mut'im, and now the Prophet, peace upon him, was secure and he was safe, and he can preach the message of Islam to them. Okay, along with that, we can also discuss one more thing before talking about the event of Miraj. We can connect it with the topic of the pledges of Aqaba. Okay, so the pledges of Aqaba is also connected with this, since when he returned back from Taif, he changed his strategy of preaching, and now he had more focus on the people who were coming for the pilgrimage. Okay, and afterwards he met with the people from Yasrib who were coming for the pilgrimage. So you also must know that what happened uh, at the time of the pledges of Aqaba. So you know that in 10th year of prophethood, when he has lost the travel support after the boycott ended, he visited Taif. And the next year, in the 11th year of prophethood, Holy Prophet, peace upon him, met with few people from Makkah. Oh, sorry, from Yasrib. They were from Yasrib, and they came here for the pilgrimage, since the people were coming for the pilgrimage. So this question could be give an account of the events surrounding the pledges of Aqaba and the main details in them. Okay, for this type of question, again you have to organize your answer and you should divide it in different paragraphs. So you can give the reason that why these pledges were signed and what happened in these pledges at that time. So you can mention that since the Prophet, peace upon him, has lost the hope from the Makkans, okay, and they were constantly rejecting his message, and for that purpose he visited Taif, but there in Taif he was not successful in getting their support. For that reason, he had more focus on the people coming for the pilgrimage. So in 11th year of prophethood, okay, you must remember that it was the 11th year of prophethood. when he met with the six pilgrims, okay, so with six pilgrims from Yathrib. These six pilgrims, they were from Khazraj tribe of Yathrib. There were two tribes in Medina, Aus and Khazraj. So here you do not have to mention the names of the tribes. You just mention that six people from Khazraj tribe, okay, they met with the Prophet peace upon him, and their leader was Asad bin Zurara. Okay, Prophet peace upon him met them, and he asked them to have a meeting at night. Okay, when the Makkans would not know about their meeting. Prophet peace upon him got to know about them when he asked that whether they are from where they were from, that where they belong to which place, to which they said that they are from Yathrib, and they met him at Mina. Prophet peace upon him talked and invited them to Islam, to which they realized that this is the same prophet about whom the Jews were talking about, since they were living in Yathrib. Yathrib is the old name of Medina. So they were living in Yathrib along with the Jews, and they were aware about the arrival of the last prophet through the Jews, because Jews, they were constantly talking about that the last prophet is about to come, and when he would come, they would rule over the whole world. Fine. So you have to give a brief background that Prophet peace upon him met with these people. Okay, and it was due to the stubborn attitude of the people of Makkah that the Prophet peace upon him changed his strategy, and he started having more focus on the people coming from the other places. Okay, so in 10th year of prophethood, after his visit to Taif, Prophet peace upon him started to preach Islam to visitors and the pilgrims coming to Makkah. So what I told you, that in 620, okay, in 11th year of prophethood, he met six people from the tribe of Khazraj from Yathrib. They accepted Islam because they were pre-exposed to the prophethood by the Jews of Yathrib. They were aware about what were the basic teaching which the Prophet peace upon him invited them. Prophet peace upon him invited them to believe in the oneness of Allah and His prophethood, finality of the prophethood. Okay, they promised to avoid any immodest activity and the evil deeds. Okay, and they went back, they returned back, and they promised that they will come next year and they will introduce this new religion to their fellow tribesmen. So in 12th year of prophethood, next year, 12 people came, they accepted Islam, okay, and they made a pledge. This was the first pledge of Aqaba. Okay, so the first pledge of Aqaba, it happened in 12th year of prophethood when 12 people came. Out of these 12 people, okay, two were from Aus and 10 were from Khazraj. You have to mention that out of these 12 people, two people were from Aus and 10 from Khazraj. Five were those who came earlier, previous year. Out of six, five came again this time. Okay, five came again this time, and five new from Khazraj tribe also came. So altogether, there were 10 people from Khazraj tribe and two people from Aus. So they met with the Prophet peace upon him in Mina, and here the Prophet peace upon him taught them about Islam. Okay, and he asked them to take an oath, and this oath is known as the first pledge of Aqaba. Okay, so this pact was between the people and Allah. What was the pact? The pact was that they will not associate any partners with Allah. Okay, the basic beliefs. They will not associate any partners with Allah. They will not commit theft. They will not fornicate. They will not kill their children. Okay, they will not disobey the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he would instruct them to do good. Fine, this was the basic pledge which was made by them. And they asked the Prophet, peace upon him, to send someone from his companion from whom they would be able to learn Quran. Prophet peace upon him sent Musa bin Umair anhu with them. Musa bin Umair was sent with them, and Asad bin Zurara was made the responsible of his food and his accommodation, and Musa bin Umair anhu stayed in the house, and he stayed with Asad bin Zurara, who was the tribal chief. And it was due to the efforts of Musa bin Umair anhu Next year, in 13th year of prophethood, 75 people came and they accepted Islam. They met the Prophet, peace upon him, at the same place, at Mina. And here they made the same pledge. This was the second pledge of Aqaba. In 13th year of prophethood, 75 people came. And this time they not only accepted Islam and made the pledge, they also invited the Holy Prophet, peace upon him, to their city. Okay, so this is time they also invited the Prophet, peace upon him, to come to their city. At that time, this time, Holy Prophet, peace upon him, was accompanied by his uncle Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Okay, Prophet, peace upon him, was accompanied by his uncle Abbas. So Abbas at the time warned the people of Yasrib that you people would be attacked and you would be killed. Okay, and you will suffer a lot of losses. Okay, if you will later on abandon him, and if you will later on abandon your support from him and you will leave him alone, it's better that you should leave him now. So he warned the people of Yasrib that if they will leave him, because since the Prophet has both security and honor in Makkah, fine. If you cannot guarantee to protect him in Yasrib, then let him remain in Makkah. To which the people of Yasrib, they made the pledge and they promised that they will protect him from whatever they are protecting themselves, their family, their children, their wife. Okay? They made the pledge with the Prophet, peace upon him. They made the pledge that they will protect the Prophet as they protect their women and children. They promised that they will spend on him in plenty and in shortage, in scarcity. They will obey the Prophet, peace upon him. They will give their wealth freely in prosperity and in poverty. So they made the pledge. And when this pledge was taken from these people, okay, they asked the Prophet, peace upon him, what they will get in reward in return. Prophet, peace upon him, replied simply, the paradise. Okay, they accepted, they invited the Prophet, peace upon him, and after that, Prophet, peace upon him, allowed his companions, his followers, to migrate there in Medina. So these are the three major incidents that we had discussed after uh, the migration to Abyssinia, which happened earlier. So I hope this topic is now clear. And if you have any question, you can share your questions now.